Interview with Epimorphist Jenna Glass by George Crowley. In the heart of Los, the capital of the Ethiopian Union, we meet Jenna Glass, a Partsiphene-level psychomancer whose work sits at the contentious intersection of magical innovation, social necessity, and existential ethics. In this rare interview, Glass discusses the science, philosophy, and unintended consequences of epimorphing and rewriting minds, particularly in clones and uplifted clavati. For readers unfamiliar with your work, what exactly is epimorphism, and how does it differ from rewriting?
Epimorphism is a deep-structure psychomantic transformation, changing the mind, personality, even the desires of a living being or automaton. It can be subtle, like easing trauma, or absolute, creating an entirely new identity. Rewriting is a more applied form, often used on mentally pre-programmed clones or uplifted clavati to halt their degeneration into savagery. Technically, rewriting is epimorphism done for maintenance rather than creation.
You say degeneration into savagery. Why does that happen?
It's part biology, part metaphysics. Clones in uplifted clavati are constructed with minds that are incomplete. Without periodic psychomantic reinforcement, neural pathways collapse, their true will destabilizes, and the soul's tether frays. Left long enough, you get regression, loss of speech, empathy, self-awareness. In societies like ours, that's both a humanitarian and security concern.
Your critics argue that you are effectively reprogramming people, not healing them.
That's fair, and I don't dismiss it. When you rewrite someone, you decide what stays, what goes, and what's new. That's power. I try to keep the original true will intact where I can, but intact is a philosophical word. Sometimes, to keep someone alive and functional, you have to overwrite parts of them. It's not clean work.
How does Das Elion perceive an epimorphed mind?
Like a sphere made of chitinous faces and tentacles. Each face is a self the being has worn. With each rewrite, the sphere grows more complex. It's a reminder that identity isn't erased, it's layered.
Let's talk about Wights and ghasts, so-called pseudo-ghosts.
These are the dark consequence no one likes to talk about. Wights are the discarded minds of an epimorph. Each one, a ghost of who they were. Ghasts are the same, but for non-Eliode creations like golems and familiars. If the creator dies under certain conditions, those minds don't dissolve into tohu. They linger, doomed to oblivion or strange, timeless prisons like Calyptos or Abizabeth. I've met my own Wights. It's not an easy conversation.
Are their creation inevitable?
Not inevitable, but likely if you epimorph often. Every rewrite risks fragmenting the soul. Necromancers can mitigate it, but the line between preservation and multiplication is thin.
Some states use epimorphism for political control. The harmonium of Astaphanos comes to mind.
Astaphanos is a special case. The entire country is in a constant state of rewrite. Leadership, citizenry, even cultural memory are reshaped every cycle, fueled by orgone harvested from the misery those glimpses of old lives cause. I call it a malady. It keeps the machine running, but at what cost?
How do legal limitations here in the Ethiopian Union compare?
We permit epimorphism only for clone slaves and under strict oversight. That's controversial in itself. But compared to nations like Ikisat, which use it as punishment, or the technocracy of Paraplex, which couples it with chemical control, we're considered restrained.
How do your rewritten subjects view you?
Depends on the rewrite. Some thank me, some avoid me. A few remember fragments, enough to resent me. And there are advocates, former rewrites, who believe the intervention saved them. They speak at council meetings. They keep me honest.
Is there a monocost barrier to this work?
Absolutely. The deeper the change, the more mana you burn. Partsipheme can sustain the process without collapse, but even for us, it's draining. Too much, and you risk psychomantic inversion, casting the opposite of your intent without meaning to.
Could epimorphism be done in a consensual, transparent way?
Yes, but it requires informed consent in the truest sense, understanding that you may never be the same person again. That's a hard truth for most. Identity feels permanent until you see it on the table.
Do you see parallels to neuroplasticity and identity formation?
Definitely. The brain can be rewired through thought, experience, habit. Epimorphism is that principle, but magnified, accelerated, and made dangerous. The ethics are similar. Just because you can change someone doesn't mean you should.
What's your stance on using epimorphism for enhancement, not repair?
Enhancements are the slipperiest slope. It's one thing to stabilize a mind, it's another to sculpt it into an ideal for military service, corporate branding, or leadership charisma. That's where personhood starts to bend into utility.
Is personhood preserved after repeated rewriting?
That's the question at the heart of all this. I think so. Personhood is a property of the soul, not just the mind. But if you chip away at memory, will, and desire long enough, you might not have the same person. You might have someone new.
What about the risk of orgone addiction?
It's real, especially in clones and uplifted Levati. The rewriting process can hook the soul into craving the energetic feedback loop of change itself. That's something I actively monitor and treat.
Do you ever regret your work?
I regret my mistakes. I regret the Wights I didn't save. But the people I've kept from losing themselves entirely, that keeps me going.
Closing summary. The debate over epimorphism and rewriting in Kenoma is not about whether the practices work. They do. But whether they should be done at all and under what constraints. In Jenna Glass's view, these psychomantic interventions are tools, neither inherently benevolent nor malevolent. Their moral weight rests entirely on the intent and care of the practitioner. As Loss and the wider Uthionian Union grapple with the boundaries of personhood, the voices of those rewritten and of the ghosts they leave behind will shape the laws and ethics of generations to come.